Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Fourth and a Dream podcast. I am your host, Red, with my co-host, the Commish. It is week 8 already. We're halfway, baby. We are halfway.
I mean, it feels just like the other day that we were sitting down here recapping our draft, talking about, oh man, there's so much promise, and this team looks good, and that team looks good, and what the F is Clark doing, and
Yeah.
here we are, man. 7 weeks gone in a
Yep.
blink of an eye.
So at the beginning of our the beginning of our season before it started, we did a draft report card recap, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this week we're gonna do a midway report card. Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna hand out some midterm grades.
Some midterms. Hopefully they're better than my son's. Actually, they
Yeah.
were they were pretty good, except for the uh, being a crazy 6-year-old.
I mean, that's understandable.
He's having those "what do I do with my hands" moments right now.
I mean, hey,
Anyways,
listen, man, it could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? It could be a lot worse.
I'm gonna send him out to Uncle Ryan, and he can pull out the belt on him, that Texas-sized belt.
Nah, he gonna be calling you back, being like, "Dad, man, this brisket's awesome out here."
Dude, I'm gonna send him out to Uncle Ryan because I know Uncle Ryan's got that belt that holds the belt buckle, and it's probably about 4 inches wide.
Come on now, I ain't
Yeah,
rolling
baby.
that. I ain't got all that Pat McAfee craziness. You know what I
You
mean?
don't have a belt buckle yet, dude?
Nah, man,
Now I
come
know what
on,
to get
dude.
you for Christmas.
Dude, I live in the city, man.
I'm gonna
You
get
know,
you a cubic zirconia studded commish belt buckle for Christmas, dude. It's coming.
I mean, people
It's
think we're
coming.
rolling around here in our cowboy hats and spurs and whatnot. I mean,
Shit, I
Houston,
be.
it's Houston's a concrete jungle, baby. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
you go a little bit outside of that,
There you go.
there we go. Well,
All right.
welcome to Texas.
So so before we get into this week eight matchups, midterm report cards, we'll do a quick recap of week 7, right? So we'll start it out. We're going to be super fast about this. We're not going to talk about players, injuries, anything like that. We're just going to fly through this. So starting out, Battle of the Siblings. Tropic Thunder, wide receiver. Tropic Thunder handing wide receiver her second L of the season, 112-84. Doing all right over there?
Hey man, the house is still standing, so I mean it wasn't that bad of a weekend.
Good to hear.
Hey, I mean, like I said, they say on average most fantasy football teams are going to lose at least minimum 3 matchups a season, and that's for the teams that are steamrolling everybody. So
True. It's true. Moving on. Same household. Baby Billy securing the dub over Snitches Get Stitches, 105-98. Is Lamar Jackson back?
I mean, listening to all the talking heads on Monday morning, they seem to say that it looks like Baltimore's got it kind of figured out on the offensive side of the ball. So
Yeah.
here's the hope.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
You're starting to string a couple wins. Close to
Got a long,
500, baby.
got a long way to go.
This is true. This is true. So moving on, Smoking Joe taking the L against the president of Bill's Mafia. Aston TD's 88.9. We're going to go ahead and call it 89-72. Anything to say about
Man, look, I'm going to talk more about this in the report card, but you know, both of those teams have. I kind of look at them and I'm like, man, I feel like they're just like hanging on by a thread. You
that?
know
Yeah.
what I mean? They got one person that goes down, and it is just going to be a tailspin.
Side note, and maybe I'll talk about this a little bit later on in this podcast, but the Dolphins, could they be a fraud?
Mm,
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
I was gonna say,
We'll
yeah,
save it.
we'll talk about that a little bit later. I think fraud might be a strong term,
I don't.
but I mean that's fair. It's all subjective. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody's always like, "What have you done for me lately?" And you lose one game and then you suck. You know what I mean? But if you
Touche.
turn around and you finish the season, what's it going to be? Let's see. They play what 17 games now. So you finish the season 13-4, and people will be like, "Ah, well, you lost 4 games against teams that were favored to win, and so
Yeah.
you suck."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
All right. Moving on. Battle of the 2010 BFFs. I secured the slobber knocker over your old cousin Ben. 103. We'll call it 104 to 76. Ben, I still love you, but I wouldn't let you get that win.
yeah, I mean, it was pretty nip and tuck there for a while. I want to say it was probably around like 1:30, 2 o'clock local time out here in Central Time Zone, and I don't think either one of you guys had crossed the 10-point threshold. But once it finally left the station, it got to be it was competitive there for a minute, and I think Mr. Addison kind of put the distance between the two of you guys on Monday night, which that Monday night game was definitely
It was a good game.
that was a surprise to everyone in the
Yeah,
country outside of Minnesota.
it's fair.
Well, I mean, probably even including Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Next on the docket, another team that's starting to gain a little bit of steam. Miyagi Illuminati, 98 over the AT Aliens. 98-93, we'll call it. You got anything on that one?
Man, I was sitting there looking at AT Aliens roster as I was putting these report cards together, man, and call me crazy, but I feel like his team's getting close, man. Now that Jonathan Taylor seems to be getting his legs, I mean, it's going to be a whole another dimension. But
Yeah,
I don't want to give away, too much, but I feel like his team may be getting ready to turn the corner. And as far as Illuminati goes, man, talking to him, any win he can get, he's happy right now.
fair.
I know it sounds crazy because his team has just been a roller coaster all season.
Yeah, yeah. And well, to round it out, the not so 5-star. You know, I think we're gonna start calling this the 5-star curse, man. Um, what a snooze fest, yeah, for the 5-star. Iron Smoke pulling out the dubs 65-40 over
Yeah,
Masturbator.
the commish fielded a handful of questions on this one regarding the lowest output total ever in the history of the league. And while we cannot confirm 40 points is the low mark, we are pretty confident as a league that 40 is probably going to be in the top five, if not easily the top three for lowest outputs ever. But dude, in baseball, when you strike out 4 times, they call it the golden sombrero, right? I feel like we got to come up with a name for when your starting quarterback turns over the ball, putting you in the negative, and he goes out for the remainder of the game with an injury. What that is, it's escaping me right now.
We're gonna follow up on that, and we're
Yeah,
gonna come up with a term for
we
that.
have to.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, man. Um,
So
Shout out to the masturbator for the
yeah,
40
dude.
spot
Yeah, dude.
total,
I mean, hey, he might actually hold a record in this league, so good for him, right? I mean, a record's a record.
right?
At the end of the day, that's a W in my
Yeah,
book. You know, I don't hold any records except for maybe the most losses from you.
it's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair.
So I'm going to hand over the mic to you because I feel like as the commish, this is your domain here. Week 8 midterm report cards.
All right.
The stage is yours. I am just here for moral support.
Okay. All right, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick this off with Baby Billy Bible Bonkers. Okay, because I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. No one gives a damn about what I think about my team, so I'll just go ahead and say what I need to say. I gave myself a C plus on the year up to this point. Injury bug has been absolutely brutal for yours truly. However, I have strung together two straight, and it seems like if Baltimore has figured things out on the offensive side of the ball, my team might be trending in the right direction. So that's my analysis of my roster. Do you have any rebuttal, or do you have any 2 cents you'd like to add right quick?
I'll give you an A for the name, and I'll give you an A for an effort. Injury bug has not been gracious to you this season, but I agree with your C plus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Moving along. Next up, we've got Iron Smoke. I went with a B plus on this one. And if there's one person that I would like to highlight on this roster, it's gonna be DeAndre Swift. He's currently sitting at RB11 in standard scoring, and it really looks like Philly is committing to having him as like the linchpin back. It's good to see Swift stay healthy, knock on wood up to this point. So I would like to say that would probably be the one guy on his team that I would say I'm tipping the cap to. Um, I mean, we could sit here and talk about Tyreek Hill all day long, man. I mean, the dude's going to get his week in and week out.
yeah, we knew that was happening.
Yeah. So, like I said, if there's one thing that's kind of made me raise my eyebrows a little bit, definitely DeAndre Swift. So, I mean, if he keeps producing, then I'd say look for Iron Smoke to continue to be near the top of the league in scoring.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. B plus. The record doesn't show it, but one of the highest scoring teams in the league, except for Week 7. Um, Shout out to all the Russell Wilson owners out there.
Yeah, I'm, dude. I've got Cortland Sutton, man, and it feels gross, but God bless. It's like I don't have a choice but to play him now.
Top 15 wide receiver in fantasy this year. Yeah.
I mean, didn't that just sound gross saying it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's ride.
All right. Next up, the Miyagi Illuminati. I mean, if you want to see a definition of a roller coaster, man, like this roster's been it, man. It's been up, it's been down. Um, Believe it or not, dude, 4 games this year, he's had 75 points or less, and he's still been able to amass a 4-3 record.
Yeah, like week
So,
one.
I mean, hey, so for this one, I was kind of back and forth on this, man. I'm going with a C plus just because of the inconsistencies. Joe Burrow, I mean, he came into the season with a calf injury. Feel like he hasn't got right yet. Ramondre Stevenson plays for the Patriots. I mean, they have no idea what in the hell they're doing on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Mac Jones has looked absolutely putrid, and then all of a sudden he's figures out how to play football against the Bills, man. So, I mean, who knows? Um,
Golf clap.
Puka, yeah, I mean, Puka Nakua. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he's been the waiver wire pickup because there's somebody else I got on my list here that we can talk about a little bit later. But if he ain't one, he's definitely got to be two, man. So, I mean, he's got some pieces. I mean, I don't know. Austin Eckler again, man. Still sounds like he may have dinged himself up again this past weekend. So if that guy doesn't get right, you're looking at your first round pick just not helping. So
Yeah.
I got him at a C plus, man.
I feel his pain with the first round pick woes, man. I'm gonna give him a B minus only because of his relationship with Roger Goodell to pick up Jerome Ford before the devastating Nick Chubb injury.
All right.
That's all I got.
Uh, Next up, we have the president of the Bills Mafia, Aston TDs. Um, again, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, man, I feel like this might be one of these teams that just is like hanging on by a thread right now. Even though she's got the 4-3 mark, Debo Samuel, he's dinged up, man, and who knows what's going on in San Francisco right now. I mean, 3 weeks ago, it looked like this unstoppable juggernaut that was just going to just buzzsaw straight to the damn Super Bowl, and now they've lost two straight.
Yeah.
And one of them was to primetime Kirk Cousins, which is just unheard of.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, she's got Josh Allen, Darren Waller's kind of coming on here after his kind of rough start. Um, you know, I'm big on Zay Flowers, and again, it looks like, man, Baltimore may have gotten it figured out, man. So, if there's one other guy on that roster, dude, Tony Pollard, man, from a running back standpoint, I think Cowboys gonna have a tough road to hoe second half of the season. So, I don't know. I got her a B minus. What you got?
So I'm gonna flip it with you. I'm gonna give her a C plus.
Yep.
I didn't like the Tony Pollard pick, and I've been one this whole season and even in the off season. Not big on Tony Pollard, man. Just don't really like the guy, and I don't have a reason why. Just not a big fan. Pains at running back seem to persist. The president of Bills Mafia. So I'm gonna go with the C plus on that one. It's all love. Go Pats.
All right. Next up, we've got Friday morning oil change. And I went ahead and went with an A minus on this one. Okay. Hurts and AJ Brown have definitely been your cornerstones this season. Like, they've been the steady Eddie. My note that I have written down here is I've got Achan listed down here as maybe the waiver wire pickup of the year.
That was not a waiver wire pickup.
What?
That was my 16th round pick.
You didn't drop him?
That was my 16th round pick.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting you confused in my other league where I had a gentleman draft him, drop him, and pick him back up. Anywho. Okay. So Achan. To me, the jury's still out on him. Okay. He's been dinged up twice this year. Preseason, and now he's currently on IR. Nobody's disputing the explosiveness that he's displayed in his 3 weeks. So if that dude can get right, you're going to a whole nother dimension. Damian Pierce, he ain't it out in Houston, which is crazy, man. After the season he had last year, the new changeover at in coaching in Houston, man, and I feel like the Texans are kind of moving in the right direction. So to me, that's kind of surprising. But yeah, man, like I said, you got some really good pieces, so I went ahead and went with the A minus up to this point.
Thank you. I don't really want to say anything about my team.
Nothing at all. Oh, stop being so superstitious.
I'm trying to be humble, dude. I'm trying to be humble because as soon as I start talking shit, it's all downhill for me, dude. It's all downhill.
Yeah, but isn't that how everybody feels though when they play fantasy football, or at least the majority of the people that we know?
Especially,
as soon as somebody says,
Especially,
as soon as somebody says anything, it's just like,
yeah. I'm riding a good wave right now, dude. I got 5 straight wins. And my losses were errors on my point for the way I set my lineups. But I mean we do that every week, right? It's a crapshoot. You never know. I'm happy with the team I got. It's unfortunate that I lost Nick Chubb for the year. But it is what it is. Hopefully it continues. It's been a while since I've been to the show.
It's been a pretty long time, man.
Well, the last time I was there, I'm pretty sure that was the first win in a row for Mr. Miyagi there. I was his first championship defeat.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it's been 4 years. 3 years, something like that.
All right. Yeah. All right. Last but certainly not least, in the which division are we in right now? The Chalupa Batmans. Last but certainly not least, we've got Mrs. Commish, wide receiver. I know I'm gonna catch flack for this grade, but I went ahead and gave the missus an A plus. She's opened the season up at 5-2. Yeah, she's got two losses against her, but I mean, you got three running backs that are currently inside the top 25, one of which was suspended the first 3 weeks out of the season. You got the new number two scoring wide receiver, and you got Travis Kelsey. So it's kind of tough for me to sit here and ding on Mrs. Commish up to this point. And I didn't even mention the Dallas Cowboys defense, which has just been
Lights out.
pretty damn good this season.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much all I got for wide receiver.
No, I'm gonna agree. I mean, I would say AA plus. She had a hell of a draft. Um, that three-headed monster she has a running back is real good. I'll be excited. I'll be interested to see what happens with the Mostert Achane thing as the season progresses and who stays healthy and who doesn't. Because Mostert has a history of not always staying healthy too. So, I mean, pretty much everybody on that Miami offense has a history of getting hurt, really, except for Tyreek Hill. So, I mean, I'll admit it, they're fun to watch. That's a hell of an offense. It's a hell of a team to watch. You know. Um, but yeah, she did a really good job drafting this year. So kudos to Mrs. Kamish.
She's almost 75 points clear of Master Bader as far as points scored. So
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, she's gonna be something to deal with, man. And if she gets the quarterback situation figured out, I mean, Justin Fields is dinged up now. You know, CJ Stroud's coming back off the bye, so she won't be having to play Brian Hoyer this week. So, anywho, you ready to head over to the Shiva Blast division?
yeah, man. Shiva last.
Yeah, that was probably more accurate the way these records are looking right now. I mean, thank God for Smoking Joe and Master Bader, man.
Yeah, man.
The other four Motley Crews, y'all need to have some pride. Anyway, uh, we'll go ahead and start it up at the Northeast Georgia War Room, man. AT Aliens, Mr. Auto Drafts.
Yeah.
Um,
F.
as I alluded to earlier, man, I was sitting here looking at this and I'm thinking, like, Jonathan Taylor seems like he's starting to trend in the right direction. Keenan Allen has just been, he's top five wideout. Amon-Ra St. Brown's coming back. If there's one guy though I want to highlight on his roster, I think it's going to be Dak Prescott, man. I think coming off the bye, I think things are going to start to open up a little bit for the Cowboys. They're going to be playing some teams where the back end of the defenses is not, they just haven't been it so far this first half of the season. So I'm not going to sit here and say like he's going to be, top five or anything like that. But if he goes from 20th on the scoring chart to top 10, I mean, it's like AT Aliens. I have his quarterback situation figured out. He's got Derrick Henry on the bench, man. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with him? I'd love for him to get traded,
Yeah.
but
There is word of
you know,
that.
I mean, next week's the trade deadline, so we'll see, man.
Where does he go?
If you
Sidebar.
want,
Where does he
if you
go?
want to, you want to talk about that for a minute now. Here, buckle up for this one. The first team I heard would be the Ravens. I mean, they've kind of had some issues there at running back, and you put King Henry back there with that QB, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. Have fun. I mean that was probably the one team that I heard like right from the jump that made me raise my eyebrows because I was like, holy crap, you plug that dude into that type of offense, man, you're gonna be
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
You got any tea leaves as far as landing spots go that
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know, but the Wildcat could make a resurgence in Baltimore.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you always got to think about Kansas City, right?
Yeah. I would say Kansas City is probably going to be in the mix.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
hell,
Philly. I don't think Philly's going to be in the mix, man.
nah.
And I don't think Miami is either. Um,
I was going to
Buffalo,
say,
Buffalo.
mm,
I don't
I
know.
don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's still Baltimore makes the most sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So, anywho, I don't know if I said it. I'm giving AT Aliens a C. So, you got any 2 cents on him, or you want me to go ahead and move on?
I'm not trying to be hard on a pimp, dude, but if you auto draft, it's an F in my book. End of story.
All right,
I love him,
fair,
good dude,
fair,
but
fair.
you auto draft, it's an F,
All right, okay.
regardless of the outcome.
So next up, we've got Tropic Thunder, the old brother-in-law. I've known him for quite a while now, and I know he is a fantasy football nut. He plays in a lot of leagues. He's usually super competitive. Um, so 2-5 has just been very uncharacteristic of him for this season. I know he's got a lot going on in his personal life right now. Don't worry, I won't be getting into that, but he's just super busy, man. So I don't think he is. I don't think he's putting as much effort and focus into this league or this roster as he probably would like to. Christian McCaffrey's been lights out this season. Mike Evans has been really good, and I mean his pick on Sam Laporta um, was Sam Laporta's been top 5 tight end.
Yeah,
I think if he's going to get it rolling this year, in the second half, man, Chris Olave, he's got a Derek Carr problem right now. I mean, say what you want about Jameis Winston, but I mean, like, you can't sit here and tell me right now that like Derek Carr is just, you know, eons better than Jameis Winston and putting the Saints in a position to, win.
yeah.
So,
Chris Olave's
I
got a getting pulled over by the cops problem too.
well, he's got a lead foot problem apparently too. So,
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. Outside of his roster, just because I know how he is and he seems to be always be in tune with things, I'm giving him a D plus just because I'm gonna be hard on him, man. I expect better from him.
I'm gonna give him a C just because he hated the Mike Evans pick, and Mike Evans has been doing very well this season. But I don't have a whole lot to say about old Tropic Thunder.
Gotcha. Moving along.
Yeah, man.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you just want to skip him?
No,
Nah.
not at
This
all.
I mean, okay, so we probably got 30 minutes worth to talk about the Jolly Roger. All right, man. Okay. So the big blow for the captain this year was when Justin Jefferson went down. And to me, that went the anchor. That was the guy in his lineup that he could plug in and week out and know that he was going to get production. I look at his lineup as it currently stands, and it's like there are a lot of question marks. I mean, is Dan Campbell finally going to start giving Gibbs a little bit more run? Yes, I understand Montgomery is hurt, but it's like even when Montgomery was around, it was like Gibbs was just holding the clipboard. So is that going to start? Joe Mixon, me personally, that ship has sailed, brother. Like, I don't know. Even when the Cincinnati offense was just firing on all cylinders last year, man, Joe Mixon just didn't. I don't know, man. From a fantasy standpoint, he didn't do it for me. I understand he was like top 15, but I don't know. Just super super inconsistent. Um, I'm sitting here looking at the rest of his lineup, man. Captain Kirk, Brock Purdy. He's got a quarterback problem. Like he doesn't know who to play at quarterback. Is it Kurt? Is it Brock? Is it going to be somebody off the waiver wire? I don't know, man. For that, I'm going C minus because of sitting at 2-5. Sorry, bud. Still love you.
So before the season started, I told him that I really liked the Gibbs pick, and I think eventually that's going to pay off for him. But by time it pays off for him, I think it's going to be a little bit too late. Right. You're right. He does have a quarterback problem. It's a crapshoot at this point if he throws in Purdy or he throws in Cousins. If Justin Jefferson was healthy, I think it would be a little bit clearer for him. But right now it's not. Good run of bad luck for the Jolly Roger. I'll give him a solid C.
All right. Next up, we've got Snitches Get Stitches sitting at 3-4 on the year. And I look at this roster, and to me, this one's pretty top heavy, man. You got Patrick Mahomes sitting at the top. You got Kenneth Walker as RB1. And then, in my opinion, I think you're looking at Jamar Chase. Like, that's your top three. And I know Jamar Chase had like the one big week where he went almost, 40 points. But when you got a guy with that type of explosiveness, then, I mean, you can get a week where he's going to win you the week, man.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of power at the top of this lineup. It's just, I feel like it's always been the case with the South Beach billionaire, man, is like, does he have enough depth to make that run and, finally push it across the finish line? And damn, was he close last season. So I'm gonna go B minus. Snitches get stitches.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, like, in almost every season of fantasy since I've been a part of this league, Clayton has either had Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. Or maybe it just always feels like that. It's respectful to stick with your quarterbacks, man, and he seems to be a big quarterback guy when he rounds out his fantasy football team. I was real high on Calvin Ridley for the beginning of the season. I'm assuming Clayton was too. The rest of the team, though, there's a lot of questions there for me at running back and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give him a C plus.
Yep. Next up, slot number 11 here. Almost done. We've got Smoking Joe sitting at 4-3. And to me, brother, dude, his running backs that he drafted this year, Travis Etienne, David Montgomery, and Josh Jacobs. That's a pretty solid stable. David Montgomery right now, I understand that he's dinged up, and it's like Josh Jacobs just hasn't been able to get things going, man. And you feel like if Montgomery comes back healthy and he's able to produce not at the clip that he was prior to injury, but I mean at least pretty damn close. Josh Jacobs gets it going. You gotta feel like there's gonna be a little regression from Travis Etienne. Because I mean he scored 2 touchdowns 3 weeks in a row now? He's gonna come back to earth a little bit, but I mean like those running backs, man, have definitely they've definitely paced him. And you got to give a little bit of credit to him, man. I know he's been a little bit up and down this year, but when he's up, man, he's usually delivering you a W, man. So I went with a B with Smoking Joe, but it's one of those teams, man. If he gets another, I mean, if ETN goes down, like that could be that could spiral out of control quick.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Good roster on paper. Um, maybe not getting him the results he wanted. Running backs are real solid. Tua's been solid. I might lose my $100 bet on him playing 10 or less games this year. It's getting close. But yeah, I'll give him a B.
Gotcha. All right. Last but certainly not least, we've got Master Bader, sitting at 5-2, top of the Shiva Blast division. And if there's one guy that I want to talk about in this roster, it's Bijan Robinson. Okay. You got a guy who's sitting at a top 15 RB right now, and he doesn't have one rushing touchdown. You have got to think that there is going to be some positive touchdown regression. Now, if this dude starts turning out like, multiple touchdown games like CMC or Travis Etienne, boy, like, watch out. Watch out. I mean, Jared Goff, he's been top 10. Joshua Palmer is definitely coming on with Mike Williams being out. Aaron Jones, for the last couple of years, when he's healthy, he's been able to produce. I think Zach Moss is going to definitely start tailing off. I don't think he's going to completely go away, but it's not going to be this like torrid pace you were seeing the first couple weeks of the season with JT being out. I like CeeDee Lamb and Gabe Davis. Maybe not as so much our wide receiver ones, but definitely wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 territory. Because he's paced in that division, man, I went ahead and gave him an A- for the Bader.
When you look at his team, man, a perfect example is you look at Clark's team, you look at Lee's team, and you think, if you didn't know the record, you would think that Smoking Joe would be outpacing Lee. But he's put a good string of wins together. He's got some good players. Bijan Robinson does scare me. I think this is the week where he comes out, and we'll get more into that. But yeah, A- is fair. A- is fair for the masturbator.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, man. So we got to get to these week 8 picks. We're about 37 minutes deep in this week's podcast. So I don't know how in depth you want to be, Commish.
All right.
But let's go and fire off the first one for the week. And we're gonna start with you, Mr. Baby Billy versus Smoking Joe.
All right, man. Old Smoking Joe. All right. On Smoking Joe's side of the ball, man, the one guy I want to look at is going to be Travis Etienne Jr. He's going to be on the road at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense has definitely been coming to play the last couple weeks of the season. I feel like he's going to get his, but I feel like he's going to get slowed down too, right? So it won't be as big as it's been the last 3 weeks. And on the flip side, for me, Rashee Rice has definitely been getting into the mix a little bit more. I think he's got that plus matchup on the road against the Broncos. I mean, you got to figure Travis Kelce's going to get his, man, but who's going to be catching the ball behind him? I think it's going to be Rice. I think Pat Mahomes is going to have a big game that week. So with that said, I will take Baby Billy Bobble Bonkers to make it 3 in a row. In a close one.
Call me biased. But what really sticks out to me is that New England Miami matchup. I don't know who the New England Patriots are right now. But I do know that earlier in the season, we played the Dolphins, and we played them pretty tough. I don't know if what we saw on Sunday against the Bills is what this team was supposed to be this year. That's what I thought this team was going to be, a tough team that was going to get away with a few wins that maybe they shouldn't have. Bill's going to come up with a game plan to hold Waddle to a Mostert and Hill to minimum standard, I think. I see at the end of this week, I see 2 4-4 teams. I'm going to go with Baby Billy as well. I think Lamar is going to continue the role that he's on. He's facing the Arizona Cardinals. That should be a barn burner, I think, man. Um, Give me Baby Billy in this one by 20 points. 110. Give me Baby Billy by 25. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
all right.
110-85.
Next up.
Snitches versus Miyagi.
All right, man. I'm gonna start on the Miyagi side of the ball, top to bottom. I am having a really tough time figuring out where he's gonna get his points from this week. With Austin Eckler still being banged up, I'm gonna assume he's not 100%. Looking at his roster, Nakua's got a bad matchup. Adams has a bad matchup. Uh, Burrow's playing the Niners. If the Niners show up in San Francisco, man, he may be under duress all game. So I just have a tough time seeing where he's going to score this week. On the Snitch's side of the ball, man, as I just mentioned, Patrick Mahomes is going to be on the road in Denver in the plus matchup. Kenneth Walker is going to have a tough road to hoe this week against the Browns. So I like Mahomes, and I like you know what? It'll be a George Kittle bounce back week. So I'll have Mahomes and Kittle pacing. Snitches get stitches in the upset.
Low scoring game of the week for me. I think we're going to have another 120 to 135 point matchup here. I think San Francisco is going to come back with a vengeance, and Joe Burrow is going to have a bad day, but I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a great day, like you said. But when it comes down to it, the position players for snitches, um, especially the running backs, I don't think they're going to have a good day. Puka Nacua might surprise us. I think that's going to keep it tight. Um, Give me Miyagi by 3.
Yep.
68-65.
Yep. Next up.
Wide receiver, Jolly Roger.
I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. I think this week the Jolly Roger is definitely gonna be excuse me, outgunned, if you will. I think there is just way too much firepower on the wide receiver side of the ball, top to bottom.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, cannons are shooting blanks this week, bud.
Yeah.
Cannons are shooting blanks. Sorry, Ben, but you about to be 2-6, dog.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. 115-75. Clip it, ship it. Moving on. We got Ass and TDs and AT Aliens.
Like I alluded to earlier, man, I think AT Aliens is getting ready to start turning the corner, man, and potentially make a run at this division. Um, it seems like he's getting healthy. Amon-Ra St. Brown's back this week. He's got a plus matchup against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. And Keenan Allen's on Sunday Night Football going up against the Bears defense. So I like his two wide receivers in this matchup. And on the flip side, Josh Allen's playing on Thursday Night Football. I don't like it. Just don't like it. So I will go AT Aliens this week by 2 touchdowns.
I don't normally agree with this, but what you just said is exactly, I think, what's going to happen. Even the projected points is exactly 2 touchdowns, and I honestly think that this score is going to be 92-78 in favor of Ass and TDs. Josh
All
Allen's
right.
going to light Tampa Bay up, dude, on Thursday Night Football.
Oh man.
Yeah. 92-78. Passing TDs. I don't know why I just said that, but I did. I got to throw one out once in a while, and this is my peace offering to the president of the Bills Mafia.
There you go.
Moving on, Tropic Thunder, Iron Smoke.
Or the old father versus son.
Father
matchup.
versus son, dude.
Man, oh man. Mm. Tyreek Hill is going up against the Patriots this week. What did he do the last time that they played the Patriots? Let's pull that up real quick. 5 catches on 9 targets, 40 yards, and a touchdown.
Yep.
I haven't looked at the schedule, but I'm just willing to bet that if Tyreek Hill scores 10 points like he did in week 2, I would say Iron Smoke probably lost that matchup. So that's it for me. If Hill gets held in check, I think it's a wrap. So I will go Tropic Thunder this week by, I'm going to say 20.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a tough time in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh front seven's pretty good, man. And their secondary is starting to come on, too. Then on the other side, you got Justin Herbert going against that Chicago defense. The matchup favors Iron Smoke. But I have a gut feeling that San Francisco is going to have a field day with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think Christian McCaffrey is going to not only extend his record of 17 straight games with a touchdown in the regular season, but I think he's going to score 4 touchdowns.
Ooh,
yeah,
Lord.
Yeah.
Mm.
Give me Tropic Thunder by 10.
Okay. All right.
5-star time?
5-star time.
Still no fucking noise.
Will y'all get in the comments and get on his ass about that, please?
I am the worst.
All right, man.
The absolute
5-star
worst.
time. So who we got? We got Masturbator taking on Friday Morning Oil Change. Both teams parked at 5-2. I will start on the Bader side of the ball. You got to figure Mr. Goff is going to get plugged in with his showdown on Monday night at home, taking on the Raiders. CeeDee Lamb will probably make his way back into the starting lineup, along with, man, I don't know. I think Lamb gets into the lineup. I think he's going to take Moss out. But I could totally see him leaving DJ Moore and Palmer in. Man. The Eagles are going to be on the road at Washington, right? It's a divisional game. They're going up against the riverboat gambler, Ron Rivera. They've got Chase Young. Washington can get after the quarterback. I'm not sitting here saying that the Commanders are going to win this game, but it might slow Jalen Hurts down just a little bit. A.J. Brown, what has he got? 5 straight games over 125 yards receiving? I know you know that.
That he do.
So, I think this one is going to come down to which one of these teams gets the production out of their running backs. Okay. The Giants have been playing a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball. The game's in the Meadowlands. So I'll tell you what, man, I feel like I've got to give the edge in this one to Friday Morning Oil Change. I feel like Damian Pierce against the Panthers he's got to be able to do something. So I'll take FMOC in this one, but I'm talking like close. Bader gets over 50 points this week, man. Close. Close.
I'm really not big on picking myself, dude. And we do this week in and week out. And like I said earlier, I alluded to, and you did as well, Bijan, he's got to get in the end zone eventually, right?
Some point.
They're playing Tennessee. Tennessee's defense is kind of lackluster. I mean, they're kind of middle of the road, right? He's got to get in the end zone, right? And what better time than against the guy that wanted him, right? I think Bijan's going to have a big day. It terrifies me. But there ain't no way in fucking hell I'm losing this week. Give me by 1.5.
Clip it, ship it, right?
Trademark. I'm going to really, really regret that if I lose this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say you lose, man. We might even see Master Bader on the
I would love to. I would love to see. I would love to see Masturbator on the YouTube podcast, dude. I would love to see him. Bring him on, dude. Bring him on.
Hey, we promise we're trying to get a couple folks lined up coming down the stretch here, so you guys just aren't taking a look at our ugly mugs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with that being said, we are currently at 51 minutes.
We need to put a bow on
my
this
hard drive might turn off. But to all of you that stuck to the end, we appreciate you. Please like the video, subscribe, tell your friends about it. I promise to get a new mic next week. I know it's a little weird, and I will make one more promise to this league. There will be a 5-star button next week.
At some point.
Your boy's getting weekends off now. I got time to do shit. So
let's go.
Let's go. All right. Until next week, I hope everybody has a great week 8. And we'll see you next Thursday.